MK party accuses IEC of colluding with the ANC and being vindictive. The MK party has lashed out at the Electoral Commission of South Africa, IEC, hinting it is colluding with the ANC to get rid of a political competitor. This forms part of the party's response to the Electoral Court's decision to sanction MK members Visvin, Reddy and Bongikosi, Khanyile following a complaint from the IEC. They stand accused of violating the Electoral Act and each fined 200,000 rand. The sanctions stem from remarks made by the two men warning of riots if the MK party did not make it into the ballot. The IEC has also approached the Electoral Court to have the men removed from the candidate list. But in its opposing affidavit, MKP Secretary General Ngubane tears into the IEC, rejecting the allegations. Given its constitutional status, it is extremely distressful for the IEC to be conducting itself in a vindictive and targeted manner towards a particular political party and its members. The image that the IEC is colluding with the ANC to get rid of a political party is hard to resist, reads the MKP responding affidavit. The MKP is being represented by advocate Dali Mpofu. The party also argues it has already dealt with the issues being raised and questions the IEC handling of the matter. Not only did the implicated persons show remorse by the MK party, has already remanded them. Mr. Khanyile was removed from his position as leader of MK Youth League, reads its opposing papers. The party also insists Reddy has publicly apologized for his comments and has been barred from issuing any such statements in the future. Their response also calls out the IEC's allegations of threats to the judiciary against the two men as imaginary and unfounded, and goes further to describe claims of contempt of court as gobbledygook with no head or tail, arguing that the Electoral Court also has no jurisdiction over the matter. MKP has also raised objections on the conduct of the firm of attorneys appointed to independently investigate the complaints against the two men. They argue the same firm is now representing one of the parties and others against the MK members, thus raising the issue of conflict of interest. The IEC has been defending its role in the run up to the elections, more recently amid criticism from several parties over its meeting with the US ambassador to South Africa, Ruben Bridget. The IEC has rejected accusations of bias. The latest saga over MKP adds to the party's battles, beset by leadership squabbles, member removals and, more recently, allegations of forged signatures ahead of its registration for the coming elections. Whilst the matter is now under police investigation, Jacob Zuma is also being held before the ANC's disciplinary committee on Tuesday. He stands accused of violating ANC party rules by joining and campaigning for another party whilst still a member of the ANC. Zuma was subsequently suspended and is widely expected to be expelled from the ANC following the party's formal disciplinary processes. Zuma wants 5 ConCourt judges removed from IEC matter, citing bias. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo is among the 6 Constitutional Court judges who former President Jacob Zuma has launched a counter-application to have them removed when the court hears his matter on Friday. The ConCourt is expected to hear the Electoral Commission of South Africa, IEC's challenge on whether Zuma can serve as a member of parliament. This is 19 days before the 2024 national and provincial elections on May 29th. The move comes after the Electoral Commission of SA IEC challenged Zuma's candidacy in the upcoming elections. The Electoral Court ruled that he would be on the ballot representing the newly formed party. The judges which Zuma once recused include Mbuyiseli Madlanga, Stephen Majet, Nonkosi Mhlanhla, Leona Theron, Zuki Satyiqi, and Zondo. Despite Zondo being on the list, he has not been part of the lineup to hear Zuma's case. Zuma, now leader of controversies MK party, said he and his party are of the firm view or reasonable apprehension that a minimum of 6 of the justices are tainted by bias and accordingly not fit to sit in the adjudication panel for his case with the IEC. This is because, according to Zuma, these are judges who presided over and adjudicated his contempt of court proceedings in 2021. Zuma was sentenced to 15 months in jail in 2021 after he failed to follow instructions to take part in a corruption investigation. The sentence had no option for a fine or of complying with a relevant court order. The Apex Court needs at least 8 of its 11 judges to make a ruling on the matter. Meanwhile, Zuma will also attend ANC disciplinary hearing on Tuesday at Luthuli House, the ANC's headquarters in Johannesburg. It's too late. Analytics believe President Ramaphosa is afraid of taking action against former President Jacob Zuma. As the African National Congress Disciplinary Committee gears up for the appearance of former President Jacob Zuma, who has been summoned to appear before the committee on Tuesday, a political analyst said the horse has already bolted. Zuma faces charges of defying the ANC's constitution after he declared support for the newly formed controversies MK opposition party, which he now leads ahead of the May 29th polls. IOL reports on Thursday that the now much anticipated hearing comes after the former president publicly announced that he will vote against ANC in the upcoming elections. Speaking to the broadcaster Newsroom Africa on Saturday, Professor Andre said the ANC leadership was afraid of acting decisively against Zuma when he announced his allegiance to an opposition party. When the whole Zuma thing came to the fore, the ANC decided as leadership not to act against him. Zuma in fact made a very brilliant move. He starts supporting MK party without resigning from the ANC, ending up somewhere in between, and the ANC leadership was afraid that if they acted against him, this would create a split within the ANC, he said. Now the split is there and we can clearly see it in terms of the organization and mobilization of the MK party. Now they have made a decision to act. I believe this is very late and I must question the timing of this decision. It comes at a time when the ANC is facing a real election threat. He pointed that different surveys have been indicating a dwindling support base for the ANC, with some forecasting a victory below 50%, while recent surveys after the formation of the MK party paging the ruling ANC below 40% in the polls. Davin Haig said this has now spurred the ANC into action, but strong leadership from the party's president Cyril Ramaphosa is missing. It seems as if the ANC now wants to take drastic action, but what I'm missing is strong leadership from Cyril Ramaphosa to act in the decisive way. It seems to me as if he is afraid of Jacob Zuma and the implications of the actions against Jacob Zuma. he said. IOL has previously reported that the ANC's disciplinary committee has set down the hearing for Tuesday at the Lutuli House, the ANC's headquarters in Johannesburg Central. The ANC has been indecisive about whether Zuma is still a party member or not. Zuma is now the leader and face of the Umkhonto weSizwe MK party, which he mentioned in December when he launched the party, stating that this is where his vote is going. And that's it from Injibs Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.